Hello, everyone. I'm Harvey Brownstone, and today's guest is a legendary multi-award-winning magician, illusionist, musician, and author whose revolutionary feats of magic have won him many world records and made him not only a superstar, but a global phenomenon, who's been named by his peers as Magician of the Century and the greatest magician of all time. He created and starred in the world's most successful magic TV series, Criss Angel MINDFREAK, seen by over 100 million viewers in 90 countries. His next TV series, Criss Angel Believe, and his spectacular TV specials were massively successful. He's consistently had the #1 best-selling Las Vegas show, beginning with Criss Angel Believe, followed by MINDFREAK Live, followed by Criss Angel MINDFREAK, a mind-blowing production featuring countless special effects and the most sophisticated technology the world of entertainment has ever seen. The media hailed it as the greatest magic show of all time, and I agree, I saw it 4 times. Last year, he teamed up with Cirque du Soleil to create Amystika, a fantastical production immersing the audience in a spectacle of euphoric, stunning illusions, one-of-a-kind special effects, and jaw-dropping stunts. After its Las Vegas run, the show toured the world. Our guest has broken Broadway and international box office records with his wildly successful live shows, MINDFREAK Live, The Supernaturalists, which was his groundbreaking ensemble magic show, and Criss Angel Raw, the MINDFREAK Unplugged, hailed by critics as the magic event of a lifetime. His book, entitled MINDFREAK Secret Revelations, is a global bestseller. His critically acclaimed performances have made him the most watched and the most successful, influential, and imitated magician of all time. In fact, so far he's had over 4 billion views on social media. And last month, he launched his brand new TV show, Magic with the Stars, which airs every Saturday night on the CW. Every week, 2 celebrity competitors perform a series of mind-blowing magic performances in front of a panel of 3 judges led by our guest. The highest scoring celebrity wins the coveted golden wand, but that's not all. On top of everything else, our guest is a beloved philanthropist. He created the Johnny Christopher Children's Charitable Foundation back in 2016, when his then 2-year-old son Johnny was diagnosed with leukemia. He's raised millions of dollars for pediatric cancer research and treatment. He's been awarded the Male Wish Granter of the Year and the Chris Gracious Award, the highest honor bestowed by the Make-A-Wish Foundation. He also received the first American Cancer Society Compassionate Heart Award, and most recently, this year, he was named Cure for the Kids Foundation Philanthropist of the Year. I'm honored and beyond thrilled to welcome the one and only Criss Angel to our show. Criss, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Harvey. What an introduction. Good night. No, thank you so much. That was very sweet and very kind that you gave me such a wonderful introduction. Thank you so much.
It came from the heart. Criss, I want to start by paying tribute to the wonderful Franco Dragone, the creator of Cirque du Soleil, who recently passed away. He was truly a genius, wasn't he?
Absolutely. He was a creative genius, and he created Cirque du Soleil. He was the guy who brought that whole look, that language, that style that Cirque is famous for. He and his brain really created that from nothing. You can see the 2 best Cirque shows that have performed better than any other Cirque show in Cirque's history in their portfolio are O in Las Vegas and Mystère, and both of them were created by Franco Dragone. Everything else is just not Franco. It's just poor imitations, wannabes that will never be for me. So, if you want to see a Franco Dragone show, O or Mystère would be the shows to see. But Franco was a huge proponent of mine, was a huge fan of MINDFREAK, came to see it. I can't even count how many times. He loved the show. He gave me the greatest compliment in the world. And he said that he thought that MINDFREAK and that Criss Angel were the greatest performers in Vegas. And he said that, he thought Celine was absolutely amazing, was an incredible performer, great performer, but she's no longer playing there. And he said that I kind of took her spot as the greatest performer in Vegas. And coming from Franco, I would never say this if it was anybody else, but coming from Franco, that meant so much to me. I literally had tears in my eyes when he said that. And he loved MINDFREAK, and we love working together. We created a show called Le Rêve over at the Wynn many years ago. I had a little tiny piece, a part of it that I worked on, but I had the chance to work with Franco for on and off for about a year. And I used to fly to his hometown, La Louvière, and work with him there, and then work with him at the theater. But then we had an opportunity to do Amystika, which was unfortunately his last creation. But we spent more than 6 months every day pretty much together. We were like brothers, and I learned such a vast amount from my inspiration, my hero. I used to watch his work back in the 80s, and I always wanted to meet him, and then to have the chance to work with him and really learn how and what makes him tick creatively and personally. Was just I was just so honored and so grateful to have that opportunity to have that gift that so many people never had. But for me, it's something that I'll never forget and cherish it forever. And Franco's work will always live on, and his memory with me, because life is but the memories you create for others to remember, is something I'll never forget. And I love him, will love him forever, and just grateful to have had the time with him, to work with him, and to be his friend.
Criss, you developed an interest in magic when you were 6. You did your first magic show at the age of 12. And by the age of 14, you were performing professionally all over Long Island, and you were already able to make your mother float in the air. What was it about magic that captivated you so much?
I guess magic for me was about seeing the impossible being possible. And, you know, I came from a very humble beginning. I had dreams of stardom and really wanted to achieve a certain type of success, because I wanted to be able to create magic and things that I always wanted to see, but I could never see from the magicians that were performing, because they were kind of caught in this way of doing the magical arts. And I saw it being so much more than that, and was able to, you know, start off trying to break the mold in what you were supposed to do, break the rules. And eventually, when it caught on, realized that I was on a path that I was charting and wasn't following anybody else. And so for me, I loved theatrics and special effects and magic and music, and just making people have the ultimate form of escape and bringing a movie to life. I mean, for me, that's what my art meant to me and my connection to the audience.
When I think of the greatest magicians besides yourself, especially the ones who were also great entertainers, I think of Harry Houdini, David Copperfield, Siegfried and Roy, Doug Henning, Lance Burton, Penn and Teller. Who were your greatest influences?
Well, I think Houdini, Ricciardi, I think Siegfried and Roy for how they transformed Las Vegas more than any other person. Lance Burton, who's a dear friend of mine, who really had a huge impact on me. I think, you know, you look at those names, they were the greatest. And, you know, Doug Henning, because he was a product of his time, you know, and, you know, really, I think a lot of why Copperfield was able to succeed was because Doug Henning got out of magic. And you know, because Doug Henning was the #1 guy out there, and he really proliferated magic and really was single-handedly responsible for magic's resurgence. And I think, you know, Doug Henning really paved the way for so many magicians, including myself. And so really loved Henning, saw him in Merlin, went to go see him in a magic show, but it was an understudy. Love things that are pop culture and product of the times.
You must have been so honored when your star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame was placed directly across the street from Harry Houdini's star. That was just magical.
Yeah, there's like a committee that did that, and it was such an honor to be the only magician that I'm aware of to have a star right next to Houdini, right there by the Roosevelt Hotel. It was poignant, to say the least. It was very poetic for me to be across the street from a hero of mine with no other magicians around. So for me, that said it all.
That's what I call karma, Criss.
We'll take it.
Now, you've said that magic isn't really about the magician. It's about the message that the magician is conveying to the audience. What did you mean by that?
Well, to me, it's not about, when you go see some of these magicians in town, it's all about how do they do it. And for me, that doesn't matter. It matters for my spectator. How do you feel when you watch it? I want to connect to people on an emotional level. I want to bring tears to people. My show is the only show that has magic, and probably the only show that I'm familiar with on the Strip across the board, that people are crying, people are happy, people are scared, people are laughing their ass off. My show is like a roller coaster. You never know where it's going to twist and turn over. But my show, and I think the reason that my show's been so successful, the #1 best-selling, not magic show, best-selling show in Vegas, is because it's something that's completely original, revolutionary, immersive. It's extraordinary, and it's a spectacle of spectacles. And I think that's what connects to people, is because you feel so much. And it's not like people don't care. Like, yeah, they see me flying and levitating like no one's ever done it. It won the greatest illusion of all time by the largest magic publication, Vanish. But that doesn't even matter. What matters is when you watch it, it brings out that child in you. It creates that wonderment. It shows you that anything is possible that looks impossible. And so for me, that's really what I love about performing live, and what I love about Magic with the Stars every Saturday on CW at 8/7 Central, is that you see these demonstrations that I worked decades to perfect, that I created in my studio, that now celebrities are doing. And it shows us viewers that we can have imperfections, we can have fears, just like celebrities do, because they're not invincible, and we can overcome them. It's a message of hope. It's a message of showing that, you're not alone with whatever you want to achieve in life. You want to get over a fear, you want to accomplish something, you can do it. Just like these celebrities thought they couldn't accomplish doing this performance of levitation or underwater escape or vanishing on stage and appearing in the audience, things that I perform, now that I'm teaching them, you see that it's possible. You see how that process works. And now you can apply that lesson in your own life. And I think that light, love, and positivity is needed now more than ever, because our country is so divided.
Oh, boy, you just said a mouthful. Well, since you mentioned the flying levitation, which was named the greatest illusion of all time by Vanish magazine, I will never forget the mass levitation you did in season 5 of MINDFREAK. You've said that hypnosis is nothing more than the power of suggestion. But how can you tell so quickly who's a good candidate for hypnosis and who isn't?
It's a great question. Every night I go out in the audience and I pick 4 people to come up on stage and sit with me as I do close-up magic. I borrow a cell phone, I put it through a bottle that all the ladies examine, or I bring their fears to life. And for me, it's about, understanding psychology, understanding body language, understanding how to read people to know if they're going to be a good candidate for what I'm about to do. And so I've been doing this for so many years. I know what I can get away with, what person. I know if I can hypnotize somebody, or they're going to have too strong of a will not to be. And basically hypnosis is basically willing somebody under their own free will to do things that they want to participate in. It's not taking somebody like, I can't be hypnotized because my will is strong. And if somebody says to me, I want you to do this, I'd be like, no, unless I wanted to play along. But, it's really kind of an interesting understanding of human nature and looking for people that will be good in a certain situation, that will make a good, entertaining, engaging demonstration for the audience to watch, whether on television or live, as I do in MindFreak every night.
Criss, you've had so many iconic moments. There's the building implosion, the walk on water illusion, the rip bodies apart trick. And of course, in 2010, you won the Guinness World Record for the most people to disappear in an illusion when you made 100 people disappear during your show at the Luxor. Do you have a favorite moment so far in your career?
There are all these, I've done over 1,000 demonstrations just on my MindFreak series alone. I just shot 75 more effects just for Magic with the Stars, all of my best hits, if you will, for celebrities. And so they're all my children. It's hard to pick one over the other, but I think what I'm best known for is, if I had to say a single effect, it's levitation, because I do it in a way that has never been done before. And my cutting in half. I mean, my stuff that I do in MindFreak and stuff that's on Magic with the Stars, you're not going to see it performed. And I don't say this boasting. I don't say it conceited. I say it confidently because I put the effort in. I have an incredible team. We bring things to life that is far more sophisticated than anybody else's knowledge or a capability to be able to bring it to life. So I can't pick one. It's so hard to pick one. It's also depending upon my mood, sometimes, I'm feeling a certain vibe and a certain type of energy, and I want to hang upside down over the audience's heads while I'm in the middle of a tornado, like a tornado that people actually feel the winds and debris flying around, and I'm spinning around as the nucleus of the tornado. So it's it's all relative to human emotion and what I'm feeling, what my body's hurting or not hurting, or what the audience is like, because no audience is ever the same. It's a lot of variables.
Well, talk about your body hurting and not hurting. Your work is often very dangerous and sometimes death-defying. In 2002, after your 24-hour water torture cell demonstration in Times Square, you were taken to the hospital for severe dehydration. And in 2014, you tore your shoulder muscles and you needed surgery. Do you have a fear of death?
No, I want to be here because I have 3 beautiful children and I want to be around for them for many, many years to come. But no, I don't fear death. I've lived a very fulfilled life. Probably lived many people's lives because of what I was able to be blessed to have as experiences. Yeah, my fear is not death. I don't have fears. My only fear, I would say, is God, for me, because of my faith. And, have I done the right things? And, when I go before God, that would be my only fear. And some people might listen to this or watch this and laugh because they don't believe in God, which is their prerogative. But for me, that's my truth.
Criss, you're a magician and an illusionist, and you certainly evoke and inspire mysticism and magic, but you've made it clear many times that you do not believe in psychic mediums and communicating with the dead, correct?
100%. That they're just entertainers, and they've been doing this hustle for many, 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 many decades. In Houdini's day, he would be in court all the time because he would see a medium using his techniques that he would use to present entertainment as magic, that they would be presenting as a medium who can communicate with the dead. But, I've offered $1 million of my own money. I know the James Randi Foundation offered $1 million. We had $2 million. And I offered a bunch of psychics including the Long Island psychic, a couple $1 million if she could do something that couldn't be explained or reproduced. But no one ever wants to take up that challenge because they know that they're just hustling people, which is really sad if you think about it. Somebody loses a loved one and they desperate to communicate with them. They miss them. They can't think about anything. And some person takes their money for as much as they can to give them messages that are not really coming from them. To me, it's just really sad to see how people could take advantage of other people going through a very difficult time. And it's why I wanted to show and expose that, just like Houdini wanted to do. It's very unfortunate that people do that.
Over the years, you've come up with many different shows featuring dozens of new illusions and special effects. I've seen you many times on the stage. You never cease to amaze. You've crawled up buildings. You've spontaneously combusted. You've turned cups of coffee into cockroaches and $100 bills into $100 bills. You've even been run over by a steamroller, and you've made wild creatures burst from your chest. You always do something new and surprising, and your imagination seems endless. When you've been asked how you come up with so many new stunts, you've said that life is death without change. What did you mean by that?
Well, for me, when you live, every moment you're changing. Your body's changing, your tastes change. And if you're not changing, then you're not alive. So to me, I embrace change. It happens every moment of everybody's lives. And some of us, don't realize it for a year or 2 years or 3 years when they look in the mirror. But we're changing, and I accept change, and I want to be a better person, and I want to be a better artist. And so change is necessary to accomplish those things. And so for me, I embrace that change.
Amen to that. I want to ask you about the new TV show, Magic with the Stars. I'm addicted to it, Criss.
Awesome.
You've been away from television for a while, doing all your big stage shows in Vegas. You toured all over the world. What made you decide to come back to TV?
COVID. COVID was a very difficult time for so many people, including myself. And we had a choice to make. Were we going to let this empower us, or are we going to let this hurt us? And for me, it was about using my creative ability and trying to think of something that would engage people and allow people to become inspired to be what they want to be in life. And I think Magic with the Stars not only has the most incredible illusions in the most technological theater you can possibly perform in, but it also has a message that, celebrities are no different than the viewers. We all have fears. We all have things that we're scared of or have to get over. And I think, like Genuine, who had the fear of holding his breath underwater, or, gold medalist Tara Lipinski brought home the gold for the US team, was scared of heights. Frankie Muniz, who's on tomorrow night, had a kind of a fear of public speaking. Believe it or not, he's a fantastic actor. So it just goes to show you that none of these celebrities are invincible. And I think what this show does is it shows people that we're all the same. We can overcome, we can achieve what appears to be impossible. We can make it possible. We can celebrate who we are, because there's only one version of you. And we should celebrate that in the world, and what you could bring positive with light and love into the world. And so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to engage viewers like I try to engage my audience live. And I'm trying to entertain them, blow their mind, show them stuff they'll never ever see or have seen. But I'm also trying to give them a message. And that message is, to be the best version of yourself, that you can accomplish anything. That if I can do this as a kid that never went to college, was on the short bus in high school, if you put the sweat equity in, you don't waste your life on social media, you hang out with positive people because you become a product of your environment, then anything is possible.
Oh, absolutely. And I have to tell you that the whole appeal of the show, to me and to everybody I know who watches, is that you do teach us that we can overcome our fears too. But Criss, there's more than that. There's something that I don't know if you've thought about this. But there you are on TV, basically showing the audience the secrets behind some of your most iconic illusions. And you've done that before. You did it in your book. And I remember you showing us on TV how you did the Lord of Illusions trick with the suspended swords. Most magicians would never do that. I'm thinking that you must be a very secure person as a professional to be willing to share your secrets. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know, because I can name a headliner in Vegas or two that would never teach a celebrity how to do one of his illusions or their illusions, because they are not secure people. Like the illusions don't make who I am. I make the illusions. And when you have the confidence as a performer, it's like watching a movie and understanding how the movie magic works. If you have a good movie with a good story, people are still going to go see it, right? Magicians, as Jim Steinmeier has said, have been guarding an empty safe. And there's nothing in there. It's a secret. But if you know the secret, you should still appreciate and be entertained and not even be able to see how it works, even if you know the secret. So for me, I train these celebrities. I teach them what they need to know in order to accomplish it. They respect what I do enough not to share it. And they've signed paperwork legally not to share it. But they're professionals and they present it in a way that makes me proud. And I think it celebrates magic, the art of magic, to people that might never have seen it because maybe they're a fan, not of me, but of a celebrity. And now they've seen that celebrity do something that they would have never been exposed to because they're a fan of that celebrity. And now maybe they're interested in the magical arts, which is a wonderful thing. Magic is a beautiful art form that has helped me as a kid build confidence, been able to forward think, my dexterity, public speaking. It's a great art form, even as a hobby. And so I think, as I always have said, the tide raises all ships. So if magic is on TV and celebrities are performing it, and I'm there with Lance Burton, Lance performed 16,000 shows in Vegas, had his own TV specials, biggest name in magic. And if we're there doing it, I think it's a great thing for all magicians, not just me and Lance.
It's incredibly generous. It's incredibly forward thinking. You're a real visionary. Criss, you've been named Magician of the Year 6 times. You were the youngest person ever to receive the Lifetime Achievement Award from the International Brotherhood of Magicians. You were the youngest magician to be inducted into the International Magicians Society Hall of Fame. You were named Magician of the Century. And in 2019, Vanish magazine named you the greatest of all time, which is the highest award that can be bestowed by the prestigious panel of your colleagues. Is there anything left for you to conquer?
I'm very grateful for all of those amazing accolades. It really warms my heart, and it feels great to be recognized by your peers as doing something pretty special in your craft. But for me, it's about, every audience that I have will never be in the same room together again, ever in the history of the world. And my job is to go out there, no matter what's going on in my personal life, my professional life. I have to go out there and I got to do my damn best to entertain them at the highest level, because they spent their hard-earned money to come see me when they had lots of other choices of shows. And I'll never take that for granted. And so if I could just entertain my audience and give them a night that they'll talk about and a memory that they'll remember and talk about, then that's all that I need and I'm grateful for. And I think Magic with the Stars, which, every night, every Saturday night, and as I pointed out, 8/7 Central on the CW, people will get the opportunity to see, if they haven't come to Vegas, some of what I do, the theater and the types of illusions that I do. And if they have the opportunity to come see me live, then it's come full circle, because lots of people watch it on television or on their computer or stream it on the CW app. And then they think like, oh, it's trick photography, or it's this, or it's that. But then when they come see it live, it has that much bigger effect and in their lives and in the moment. And so for me, that's really what I love. And I don't need anything more than that. All these other things are wonderful, but my television series and my live show is I'm very, very thankful. I'm very blessed. I never take it for granted. I have had opportunities to do things that most people in my craft have never had and would love to have. And I work harder than anybody to remain number one. And until I decide not to do it anymore, I will always work harder than anybody else to remain the most relevant.
Criss, as I mentioned in my introduction, your family went through a total nightmare when Johnny was diagnosed with leukemia. Earlier this year, you released a documentary film called 1095 about his journey through cancer treatment and to raise awareness and funds for cancer research and treatment. First of all, how is Johnny doing? Johnny
Christopher is doing fantastic.
Thank God.
Really, really good. Thank God is right. He went through more than 6 years, of pediatric cancer. He spent more than 5 years doing chemo every day, pretty much. Blinatumomab, which is a medicine that you get through a machine 28 days every other month. He did spinal taps, blood transfusions. The kid went through hell. And so I used to do a lot of work since 2001 for pediatric cancer before I had a child, before I was famous, before anything. And to have my own child years and years later with the very disease that I was fighting against and trying to help these kids is pretty mind-boggling. But I think it's by design. I really do. I think that all of the success that you talked about regarding my career is there, I think, for a greater cause, and that's to be a platform and a spotlight for the betterment of children. When I had the opportunity to spend some time with Jerry Lewis at one of the events, I raised $1 million in one night. 100% of the proceeds went to pediatric cancer. Jerry was there, and he said, it's your time to take the torch and continue on what I was doing for many years. And so I take that, responsibility very seriously, not just for Johnny Christopher and that foundation, but for Cure for the Kids here in Vegas, in Nevada, and Make-A-Wish of Southern Nevada. We try to raise money and help those two organizations out and do what we can do. We earmark the money so that, lots of charities raise money and then they take, 20% out for their overhead, administration fees, nonsense. Charity is about giving, not getting a penny. And it costs me money to do this. Every year I pay for every expense, whether it's salaried or whether it's the Amex fees when people donate or whatever it is. And then I contribute money. Not to say that I'm better than anybody else, but I want people that are watching this to know that if you donate $1 to ChrissAngelHelp.com, every cent of that dollar will go to a child. Nothing comes out on my end or where we donate it, we earmark it, so it has to go to children. I don't believe in charities that take money out for overhead or for salaries. It's not right. It's not giving.
Well, I know that your work for pediatric cancer is the most important thing you've ever done. You've always been about light, love, and positivity. I love that you're putting this energy into such an important cause on behalf of children fighting a life-threatening disease. I want to tell our viewers that you can find out everything that's happening in the world of Criss Angel by going to his official website, chrisangel.com. And please consider making a donation in any amount to the Johnny Christopher Children's Charitable Foundation. 100% of all donations to the foundation go to childhood cancer research, treatment, and ultimately a cure. No deductions are taken for administration or expenses. You can make your donation on Criss's website. Well, Criss, it's been such a pleasure to meet you and to have this opportunity to chat with you. I know how incredibly busy you are. I just can't thank you enough for taking the time to come on our show.
Well, I thank you very much for wanting me to come on your show. I appreciate it immensely and appreciate all the research that you did, and very grateful to you and to all of the viewers And I really appreciate the love and support. I never take it for granted. Very grateful. And hopefully we'll see each other either on television or live in Vegas.
I sure hope so. Our guest has been the undisputed king of magicians, the incredible Criss Angel. Don't miss a single episode of Magic with the Stars, now airing every Saturday night on the CW at 8 and 7 Central Time, right?
That's it.
My name is Harvey Brownstone. Thank you to our producer, Steve Silver. Thank you to my management team, the fabulous Rick and Robin at the Marcelli Company. Thank you all for joining us. See you next time.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out all the great interviews on the Harvey Brownstone Interviews YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified when new videos are posted.